What is going on, guys? Today we've got a crazy amount of wingers that we're going to go through and find out the best winger in FC24. So the first card, Garnacho. I believe pretty much most people, if you are playing the game a little bit, should have got this Garnacho for free from the daily login a few days ago. Do I think he's really going to be main team material? I don't. The big thing when it comes to cards like this, like for instance, if we look at somebody like Perisic, if we see St. Max, if we see Hemp, well, Hemp's actually pretty good rated anyway, but the kind of mid-range, like a Beasley sort of thing, or a Berardi eventually, these could be great evolutions. I believe Garnacho could have gone into an evolution as well, so it isn't necessarily a one-tier card anymore. Now it's, is he going to be great for an evolution later on down in the line? Again, we can only speculate. So unfortunately, there isn't then anything I can do there. I would say for me, for a winger, he does the business, but definitely an A would be more than suffice for him. When we're looking at someone like St. Max, I feel like he's very similar. He does have, again, more of the agility balance sort of scenario. He is more of a skiller rather than necessarily rapid completely down the wing and that's it. When we see somebody like a Diatta from yesterday, he is by far so much quicker, very quick down the wing, naturally doesn't have that quick step or rapid playstyle plus, like how St. Max I believe has Trickster. They're just totally different cards with how you use them. St. Max is very much like a kind of a lower version of a Neymar or a Vinny. He's more on the skill level. You go in one-on-one instead of just beating him with full pace. Even though he does have 93, it is all about that skill as well to just be able to manage to get round players. So I'd put him on that Garnacho level. I would say with Diatta, just because I mentioned him, we used him yesterday, he is rapid, like way quicker than both of them. So I think if I'm going for a very just slight assumption at the moment, I'd put him in a very low S, but he's definitely better, maybe even a high A. One of the big boys out the way, we've got our man Ribery. He is obviously an 88 rated card at the moment, still a base layer of an icon as well. We haven't seen the bigger upgrade for him. It's coming in at 718,000 with a 5.5. When it comes to Ribery now, he's going to go against people that have had 1, 2, even the likes of Son with 3 upgrades at the moment, whether they've been 1 upgrade or not, predominantly 90 rated everywhere, but Ribery is sensational. He's always been a very good card in his actual career, and this card most definitely is still very, very nice. He is harder to pack and definitely not in the cycle of FIFA at the moment. I think for right now, if we're going to look at what's going to go in the S+, I feel like he's just under that still. Then if we get through a few of the top boys, we know who they are. They're predominantly all at the bottom. So if we get through these, because they are naturally all going to be in the S+, there's just no way that they don't, and we'll kind of go over all of them. Not necessarily individually, as all of them have the same sort of qualities. If we look for everything, I know Mbappe technically is a striker, but naturally he can play the wing as well, so I thought it'd only be right to add him in. So we've got Neymar, Salah, technically a striker but can still play the right wing role, Vinny, Ronaldinho, Mbappe, Garrincha, Diani? I don't know, I always call her Diana, which I know is wrong, but she's incredible nonetheless. All of these have the same quality. They're very quick, they naturally cost a lot of money to get, but also have that game-winning factor. I would happily take any of these and try and win the game with just one of them. It's the R9 sort of effect where if you've got good players, you tend to pass it to them more, and it's why you kind of see them have that last minute winner a little bit more. And naturally they are good players. The market is a market for a reason, and the top players always go at the top and they just stay there. If Garrincha wasn't good, he wouldn't be the value. We see it with somebody like a Baresi who's 91 rated. He's more, well, he's less expensive than say a Cannavaro or someone of a lower rating, but there is a better value in having a Cannavaro than there is a Baresi. It's the same with Bobby Moore. It's the same with a Coleman at some point. They're going to be less value than a base Rio Ferdinand. The market dictates which ones are expensive because either they have a high demand, a low supply, or they are just that good in the game. Them what, 7 are some of the best wingers in the game, full stop. There is a reason why everybody wants them. When it comes to a lot of the lower ones, we have got some that are emerging through. We have someone like a what is it, Ali? Was it Ali Kang? I thought his name was. But we've got Kang in, a great SBC. Definitely kind of really good once the Thunderstruck come out. But naturally, as we go through all of these, you'll realise they slowly dip and dip and dip till they're not necessarily in that tap category anymore. I would still go a low S with them, and the reason why I've kind of left them in is we do have a considerable amount of year in review packs. I've managed to get him without finishing the SBC just from that, so it does save you a bit, and you can technically still get them. Very, very, very low chance, but still can. Rodrigo, on the other hand, I'd still say into an S category. He just needs that bigger upgrade to really put him into that top category. He's kind of like how Vinny was a few years back. He's chasing the Neymar shadow, and Rodrigo is chasing the Vinny shadow. Both different wings, but definitely better potential on a Vinny. We then have got a Diaz. Absolutely love this card. I think he is absolutely quality. He very much is pace orientated. He's rapid going through, and he can get down that wing, and that is the whole point of a winger. Whereas a Grealish, I like him more in the middle personally. He hasn't got that absolute dire pace, and it's why I personally as a winger wouldn't put him that highly. I like him more in towards a cam, somebody that is going to assist, more of kind of literally that passing player rather than just going down the wing. We have got an abundance of icons as well. I think Owen for me just doesn't have the body type. Suker, not a bad one, but for me, unfortunately, he isn't going to hit them top ratings. Whereas Butra definitely is one of them cards that, even though I still like him as a striker, they took a bit of shooting off him. He still could get the job done if you go with a finisher. A Hunter, if you really wanted to max out that pace, again, might be a bit far gone with him, but definitely a finisher at the very minimum. Son on the same level. I know he is coming during the Ice promo. Finesse shot was absolutely broken, and if that still was a thing, he'd definitely be in the top category. Now it's slightly less, even though it's still effective. Unfortunately, it does drop down into an S. Willian's going up there as well. I really didn't think this card would be anything. Gave him a go, and honestly, he is absolutely brilliant. They got the upgrade so right with him. It just works perfectly. We then have got a few more icons as I can see them. I've played with predominantly a lot more icons, more games, so I've played with pretty much all of these cards. That's actually scary that there's very few that I haven't played with now. In terms of wingers and attackers, that is kind of the main focus of the game. Of course it is. I don't play with every defender total, but when it comes to wingers, strikers, even some elements of cams, I've done my rounds for a lot of them, whereas icons, because they link a lot, I tend to use them more because, as well, we have an incredible amount of loans. Figo's going to go up there. Pires, this year is a little bit of a letdown in my opinion. I felt like last year, once we got towards the end of the game, his card was actually really nice, but it feels like we've kind of just went on the back burner a little bit. Ian Wright's definitely going to go up there, even though I've got to take value out of this consideration because I think the value is way off. 600,000 coins for him. I think he's very good, but I'd say 300 to 400 at max when it comes to the value, but the card is better than the striker version. Best this year, I've really not been a fan. I've been waiting for that upgrade. Unfortunately, it hasn't come yet for him. We have had the Jairzinho and also the Garrincha, but we are still waiting on that best card. The only thing he does have is, whereas Jairzinho can play the striker and right wing, Garrincha can only play right wing, Best can play left wing. So you've got all three of the right wingers can disperse themselves across. We have got Lineker as well. Little bit better than Owen in my opinion, but unfortunately just doesn't come up trumps. I feel like he was, again, one of them cards they just threw together as an icon. His value definitely speaks volumes, but for me, he just isn't the one. Rivaldo, phenomenal. Love the upgrade. I want to say I know we got the base version as well, or like the baby version, I think they call it. He got a lovely upgrade into a 4-star. If you used him last year when he got that upgrade, he was 10 times better. The 2-star weak foot kills him off, whereas this one, much, much better. Hansen, I've just noticed her, and Ginola, and oh my god. And to be honest, the thing is, a lot of people won't like the fact there is so many S pluses. You could use any combination of these, and they are absolutely top tier. There's just no debating about it. Ginola's the 5-5. Hansen's probably up there with Diana, yeah, with in terms of a winger. I feel like Diana, the big thing with her is she can go into that striker role, and she is just dangerous going forward. We then have Dembele. He definitely could do with the upgrade now. Beautiful gold card with a 5-5. One of the first wingers we got at about 250. We managed to get him untradeable. Now he's got his 90. We're waiting for that next level for him. Then we see a few down the bottom. Beardsley, decent pace, but unfortunately just doesn't really make it in my opinion. Ansu, I like the pace of him. I feel like he could be like an A+. Maybe we do go with that potentially to kind of spread the kind of ratings across. Do I go S+, S, A+, A, and then B's for just complete fodder? That could be, let me know down below if you're still watching, if you're not skipping to the end, then let me know if you'd like maybe a split between, because I feel like you could split between the A and the A+, where it's better than the A, but it's just under the S. I kind of utilize it as like the lower S and the topper A, but let me know what your thoughts are with that. Inaki Williams, I'd say again, probably more of a top A. I wouldn't quite go into the S, as I feel like he's got the pace, but the end product is still a little bit lacking, but it is a nice upgrade for him. Same with Sissoko, great when he came out because it was one of the first promos. Now we're starting to see a lot more cards with more versatility in them. They've got better shooting, they've got a considerable amount of better passing, dribbling, maybe even a bit of physicality, the 4-4, the 5-5. That is what's going to be taken into this focus. Same with Malin, great card, lovely striker, but unfortunately as a winger, doesn't quite meet them expectations. Liao, easily an S card. I feel like again with him, he is a winger or a striker depending on how you want to play with him, but again he's going to be a card that just rises through the ranks. Same as Rafinha, lovely upgrade from him. We got him very recent. I want to say he was the, was he, I want to say he was a what's it called, a mini release in terms of the 87. Again, like a Rodrigo, is just waiting for that next big upgrade. Rashford, on the other hand, I feel like started really well. Centurion's one of the first promos as well. Just now needs another upgrade for him. We've got cards that have caught up to that level. Once he was initially into the game, he was definitely one of the better wingers you could get, and especially with the power shot I believe he had. 780 still on the price, which is always nice, but unfortunately just needs that little bit more. Same goes for Doku. Great card. I, again, would probably go more towards in an A+ for him. Pace is significantly incredible. But I feel like, again, it is the final product for him that is really struggling, and that's where we need to see the bigger upgrade for him. Maybe an Evolutions just to get a bit more on that shooting. You could argue you wouldn't even need the passing then. If you could have that winger that's got the dribbling, got the pace, the skill move, weak foot, and then a little bit of shooting, he's going to be that triple threat sort of winger. And it's the same for someone like a Loriente. I love the card. In terms of him, he has been one of my favourite Evolutions you could have got from right back into centre mid, but naturally, he just needs a big upgrade to go back into a centre mid, because we've been using him at right back for far too long. He's a wonderful centre mid. The stats are everything for him. Obviously, he does have a little bit of a decrease in his defending with this card and can play both sides. I still think he's a good card, but as a winger, I just really wouldn't put him over a lot of these cards, unfortunately. Future, one of my UCL Hero packs that I got. Brilliant card, very quick. Again, the heroes are just a weird one at this point. When it comes to the UCL heroes, it's like they got put in packs and then left alone. It's like we just don't know they exist anymore. There's been no upgrades for them. We've seen 1 or 2 weeks of them, or I think it was a week, it was a day, and then the next day the next lot came out. So I don't quite know where, and then once they disappeared, that is all we've heard of them. I kind of wanted the same hype of what the World Cup heroes were like, because they were sensational. Big upgrades for them, massive cards, and unfortunately for these, a lot of singular upgrades, which is fine because we know they're going to bring out more and more heroes as we go. But I think with Future, he could do with that next upgrade to take him that one level up. McManaman, great hero card from the upgrade. He's definitely stepped up, very much like Villali. Rubbish base hero, but now we've got this upgrade, he definitely seems that little bit better when it comes to it. Same with Harry Kewell. I feel like he'd be now a bottom A if anything. I really liked this card last year, but unfortunately has considerably dropped in people's opinions this year. Then we have two of the females. We have Hemp and Lauren James. Both of them very good upgrades. Lauren James especially, currently coming in at 168, but the big thing with it, 5-star, 4-star on the skill move to weak foot. With a finisher, you end up with the 91 pace, you end up with 90 shooting, 85 physicality already, 86 passing, and then also 92 dribbling. The only kind of downside to her is the agility is very low. You've got to go with a finisher because even with a +8, it only takes it to 74. That's the only thing that I kind of have a grudge against, but every other stat is phenomenal. Hemp in game, even with the 4-star, 3-star, is a brilliant card. Very pacey, naturally has got the whipped pass, which is always a nice one for crossing, which makes her a very good winger if you can get the links. Berardi, on the other hand, is going to be in that bog standard. He's a card that naturally has very good stats throughout, but unfortunately just never has that conviction. He's there. He normally gets a good rating. He tends to get quite a few informs, but really doesn't ever have a value. And it always kind of makes me stumped a little bit because naturally he's a good card. Like 88 pace, 89 shooting, 88 passing. You've got yourself a very statted card. But unfortunately the in-game doesn't agree with him. Whereas Adeyemi, I think, is a wonderful card that naturally has got that nostalgic value. Obviously, Danny Aarons has done an absolute wonder with him, but even so, he's definitely deserving of a decent card with a huge pace increase. Naturally, again, you'd want with that finisher just to rack up that pass, that shooting, and also dribbling. We then have Bamba. Unfortunately for him, he is kind of... Is he in the... I'd probably say a low A. I feel like a B is probably putting him a little bit low, just on the fact... No, he is B. He's very useless in terms of the game. When it comes to it, it is an objective. Most objectives tend to have a nice stat card, but unfortunately don't produce anything. We then go into a few more. We have Hugo Sanchez. I actually quite liked him as a left wing. He definitely played better in a striking role, so I kind of take a couple of points off there, as naturally a lot of these wingers were strikers, and again I'll go over the factor that not very creative with their roles when Suker, Lineker, Owen, Sanchez, Butra, Ian Wright are all strikers. It's just one of them things. I suppose you've got to do with what you can, but unfortunately for me I feel like I would have liked maybe a petite left wing. I don't know, try something different and maybe make a Hugo Sanchez as an incredible CDM or something. It would have been interesting more, but in terms of the card, I liked him. I thought he was decent enough. Pace-wise was good, dribbling was there, shooting still at a very high rating. Then we move on, we've got Joe Cole. I actually really liked this card. Where would I go? I'd probably go a low S. That's where I'd probably go an A+ with him. I do like the upgrade from his base hero. Base hero is definitely an A now, but I do think with the upgrade, he definitely revived himself a little bit, but I wouldn't say he'd be up there. I'd definitely take Sanchez, I'd take Best, I'd take Dembele over him. He's just in that ranking in my opinion. When it comes to Perisic, he is an A, but he's very cheap and very affordable for a lot of people. If we move out one more, we should be able to see the rest here. Should be good enough, and I will move my camera down just so everybody else can see all of the cards. Because we got Orzabal, I'd probably say a standard, to be honest. He's very much like Berardi. Doesn't necessarily have the card that's everybody's dream card, and he has just changed positions from left wing to right mid, but unfortunately just doesn't come in with it. Gully would go into a very low A in my opinion. Malcolm would go into a medium A. I like the upgrade, definitely needed that winner's upgrade to get him up there, otherwise he would again been a bog standard. You could have done an evolution with him as well, which I believe made him an 88, so you did get that card regardless. Tauvin, to be honest, he's probably one of the only ones that I haven't really had a great deal with. If we can find him on here, can never spell his name properly, but he's an 88 Pro, 77k, 4-star, 3-star, good pace. Dribbling wise, phenomenal, great composure on him, agility balance is there, 88 shooting. I believe he can still be upgraded as well with the new tracker. Does it show me? He's had just one upgrade, I believe, so far, so there is still room for him to be upgraded. That's an argue one, to be honest. That's actually a lot better than what I thought to start with. Decent price at 77, you're not going to worry about that. Would like a weak foot, but I feel like I'm being very picky there. I'd probably say a high A if I'm being honest there. Looking at the kind of cards we've got, I think in terms of an overall spread, that could be one of the cheaper beasts you could find. We have Martinelli. I love the card, but again with a price, kind of like Ian Wright, but I do hold Martinelli in higher regards. Naturally is already a winger, so body type, in-game stats are going to be considerably better. So I will kind of go with that medium S tier. Kvaratskhelia, love the card, 5-star, 5-star. Still coming in, I want to say, at a a very reasonable price, I'm pretty sure. He has got himself an inform. It's coming in at 420 with the 5.5. Definitely like Liao could do with the upgrade now. Once we get into that 90 plus, we fell in love with Liao and also Kvaratskhelia team of the season, then let alone their footies. That was kind of where they kind of sprouted their name in a FIFA directive. And finally, we've got the Wonder Kid in Saka. Did get 291s. Why? I don't know. But they're both pretty much identical. There is a +1 on everything for the team of the group stage. And he's 675k. So he is double the price nearly of what the road to the knockout is. And in terms of him, 4-4, very pacey. Shooting's good, dribbling's good. He's kind of in the lower S at the minute, but definitely is due an upgrade soon. That's going to be all the wingers. Let me know down below what you think. And I'll catch you all for the next time. Peace.